Hey, my name is Rich Baker, and I purchased one of these mini excavators, mini Chinese excavators, and I want to share my experience with you from the auction gavel all the way to 25 hours of operation. I've learned a lot of things, and I'd like to share them with you. 10 specific tips that you probably need to know if you're considering purchasing one of these. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Here's the truth. I don't have a clue how to drive it. The oil drain on this Briggs & Stratton and the holes on this particular unit seem to line up pretty good, and so bought an actual drain pan for that. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Let that go for a bit and get some known oil in the unit before I even use it. We're kind of on a slight grade right here, so what I'm going to do is jack up the back end of it a bit just to kind of level out the engine before I go to put oil into it. So not very exciting. So I'm using this Super Tech from Walmart. It's NW30. Some folks say be sure to use synthetic oil. Others say, be sure not to use synthetic because of this, that, and the other thing. I'm just going with regular oil. And some say 1040, some say 530, some say 1030. I'm going with new clean oil, and that's my target. So I poured this into that just so we know how much it's going to take. It looks like it is full, right at 1 full quart. So it is right there. Happy with that. I'm so glad I changed the oil that came in that new excavator. It's brand new, just got it from the auction. And people keep saying, well, yeah, you gotta change that oil. That is what was in there. Look, it looks like Coke. There's hardly any thickness to it at all, and it's dark and nasty. Oh, so glad I changed the oil. So I emptied out the gas tank with this item, put it in a 1 gallon jug, and I didn't see any dirt in it, but I did see just little droplets of likely water. And so to dry that up, I've put in just a little bit of alcohol. Let that sit for just a minute because it's just a pennants at the bottom down there. And so I'm going to take a look at it with a light here in a sec, and then use this wand here again out of a good known source of gasoline and fill her up. Here's a little walk around with the foot plate cowling off to reveal what's inside. We see the battery on the left-hand side, and next to it in the middle is a hydraulic pump. Hydraulic lines are coming in and going out to places unknown, but it seems to be relatively organized and clean, at least for the moment. This plug at the bottom of the hydraulic tank must be a drain, but there's no hole below it, so the oil would go all over the bottom of the unit if the drain is used. That's not going to happen. Going to the right side, we can clearly see the engine and another oil check. The one on the back will be much easier to use. Looking from the back now, you can see the hydraulic pump and the back end of the engine. I'm getting close-ups to capture details I don't even know to look for right now. These videos are handy later when everything goes bad and you need a reference to when everything was good. Well, here's a shot of the turntable gearbox. It won't be this clean for long, I'm sure. Now coming in under the foot plate on the right side to show the engine in more detail. Okay, not having a good drain on this particular system for the hydraulic oil. I took the cap off the top and I drained it with this. Appeared to go well. Almost got a gallon out of it. I'm sure that's not all that's in there, obviously. There's a lot in the lines, but I extended it as far as I could or reduced the cylinders to get as much fluid back in the tank as possible. That's in the jug, and honestly it doesn't look as bad as I thought. I mean, it looks like decent oil. The oil that was in the engine would almost look like Coca-Cola. This oil, yeah, really pretty decent. I'm going to keep it as a spare. I'm going to keep your hydraulic oil about here. It's a good medium location. Also, if you look really close in there, you can see a red line. Now, this is a cooler weather time frame, but we don't want that line to get up. I think somebody said above the 140 mark on the right hand side. I could be wrong about that. Make comments if I'm wrong. And I think we are about ready to operate. So I'm just going to reach in manually and do the choke because that thing is worthless. I think we've turned this way, I believe. pull back on the choke a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be a feeling operation. Also, I just want to run it for a minute and then check the oil, make sure we're good. Not hearing fire though. This thing for about an hour. We're getting to know each other, and wanted to check the oil again. Had to take the back panel off again. Gotta fix up a door deal on that quick. But just check the oil. Yeah, I think it's a little low. The oil's gone through the whole system. I think it's really solidly through all the system. I feel pretty good about that. It's been sitting for a while. I'll check it here in a sec again and top her off for oil. I think she'll be good. That's what I've done in the interim. I mean, that panel was not fitting right at all, so I had to drill out some holes here. This one here just totally sheared off because when they put it on, they got it just caught enough, the threads just caught enough on the bolt, they just powered it in. And so taking it off was, it just, the bolt just sheared. And of course, you know, left it in the inside the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put hinges on this thing. Clearly it has to have hinges. These down here, these bolts inside here, were okay once I was able to bust them apart, but getting them to loosen up was difficult. So I'll put a hinge on there and make things a lot better, easier. Well, that took a minute, but now all I gotta do is just swing that door open and get going. I'm very happy with that. And the engine compartment is open for business. I gotta wait for a latch to come in from Amazon now. Just got these clamps in from Amazon. Our friends at Amazon arrived today, installed. Plenty of room to get in there and work around the engine. Super happy with that. Well, I'm getting a rattle, and it's not a bad rattle, but it's a rattle. Yeah, I discovered that it's where, you know, I made this thing open like everybody does. It's just the smartest thing to do on these Chinese excavators, but it comes open, it goes open, and it fits really well. That fits over that, just slides right over. But where they're close, it rattles. So I'm just gonna put some tape there and just see if that buffers that that sound. It'll clearly wear out fairly quickly, but we'll see. We'll test it out. Just keep this thing going by gray tape and spit and glue, I suppose. But no, it's been great so far. I loved it. All right, so you might be able to see there's a few layers of black, what we typically call gray tape or duct tape. See how she closes. Can't tell too much difference so far. Much better, no rattle. Excellent. All right, from what I hear online, see on YouTube is that the grease fittings kind of need to be changed to the North American style, I suppose. So, you know, I'm starting to feel around, and this one is actually loose. It's not solid in there at all anyway, so I'll just fire up on that one first. It has a little bit of resistance, but that's probably just from grit. Let's see if I've got one that will fit that. I bought this kit at Harbor Freight, of course. Where else are you going to get stuff? And pretty handy so far. Let's see what happens. It looks like we have a match here. Yeah, let's see if that fits. There it is. Finally. Alright, I'll just tighten that up. The other one while we're here. I've got about an hour and a half on this thing so far. And it had right at about an hour and a half on it when I bought it, and still getting to know it, trying to understand it. So far, I love it. That's one thing I noticed as I was looking online before I purchased one, was that people would have complaints, but they're typically pretty minor complaints, and the overall feeling was, man, I wish I would have bought this sooner. And this little thing I did with the changing of the where the choke cable comes in has been perfect, and works extremely well, much more efficient. Just moved it to the right hand side. That has worked perfectly. because this thing is not firing. I had a little jolt a few days ago, just pulling on the root. It slipped back. It wasn't a big deal. Then just seconds after it, the engine died. And it's been going for a little over 8 hours now. And has been doing great. Just fires up like perfect. And all of a sudden it decided after the situation to not run anymore. I fired it up right away after that. It ran for about 10 seconds, died. Fired it up again about 2 seconds and died, and hasn't hit a lick since. So I'll do it without this first, just so you can hear what's going on. And without the filter, we'll see what it does. And I've had it choked, unchoked. I kind of smell some gas. I think gas is getting in there. I think it's getting fire because I just shocked the fire out of myself in testing the looking for fire at the spark plug. So with fire and with gas, it looks like you'd have somewhat of a combustion explosion. So maybe with this, we're going to find out a little bit more. I'm kind of going to stand out of the way here. All right, well, that's a good thing. Now, why I want to continue. So it's strictly running off of this. It's not getting gas. Oh, I also took this plug out and let that gas drain for a bit, and it all looked clean. I do not know what it is. Maybe we can suck some good gas in. I don't know. Full on choke. I've never owned a piece of equipment that greasing was so important, but this thing apparently, I mean, you got it in the dirt all day long, so it seems like it's going to be pretty important, and everybody screams that it's super important to grease this thing. So I bought this Adavir, and now I'm kind of learning a little bit more about how to use it. I want to share with you what I've learned. When you yank this back, it's in the documentation to yank this spindle back in the load, but it doesn't say anything about releasing this lock. And of course the lock will let that plunger plunge in and help push. And so it took me a bit to figure all of that out. We've had a good hard day of being in the dirt, which has been good, enjoyable. And so I'm gonna do a little greasing and kind of show you how that operates. Now the Adavir, people say that you ought to, because it's under high pressure, you should wear glasses. You can see I'm wearing glasses. But to attach it, you pull down on these levers, push it in, and there you can see it's attached. So I'm pulling the trigger on my Bauer 20 volt. And you can see it's already pumping out really well. and what's coming out looks pretty clean. So pretty pleased with that. That's how it operates. I'll clean that off. thumb is an absolute necessity for picking up objects. However, notice the thumb is off the unit right now. I've discovered that a non-hydraulic thumb drastically limits the unit's digging capabilities. It's just in the way. However, I've seen where a hydraulic thumb is able to move out of the way of the bucket and allow larger dirt loads, similar to not having one. Next upgrade. neighbor was over trying out the new unit in the neighborhood, and he was turning around on the turntable. And I noticed one of the hydraulic lines nearly got caught on the upper square edge. And so I put a tie strap on the line to keep it held down. So, tip number 9, have someone else operate while you watch for problematic issues.